Hola y bienvenidos a la Deuces Wild Daily Hustle. Soy Enrique Byrnes y presidente es el mejor cerveza. No abate por No Filter Network. Miguelito Santiaguito, not with us today. Will the Thrill Clark, not with us today. But hopefully we have picture for you this morning. If you're in the chat room, give me a thumbs up. Let me know we actually have done this right. We need a pic. We need audio. Somehow, some way, I've figured out to screw things up. But I will tell you this. We are going to come on here regardless, each and every single morning, and we're going to properly salute not only our boys, not with us today, but I think I mentioned this yesterday. Will Clark will be with us this evening. But let's salute him anyway. Yes, 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 yes. Woo! Remember this, folks. When we are juiceful, we are useful. And when we are juiceless, we are fucking useless. A very pleasant good morning to you on the 6th day of May, 2025. I just finished putting together, this is how the sausage is made, a really cool video about Jacob Wilson. So I was watching the A's game last night. Let's save this before we screw anything up. But I was watching the A's game last night. And by the way, I don't know, what you guys do at night, or I don't know what you watch, if you're into shows and you binge watch things, or I don't know, maybe you're an NBA fan and you're in the playoffs right now, NHL's firing, all sorts of options. If you're a kid, you're listening to this, it could be video games, whatever. But for me, I've now, and this is really kind of new, because I've always been very ADD, and it was tough to focus on one game for an extended period of time. I'm watching baseball again. Like, I'm actually watching the game and feeling the moment. I'll say this, because I obviously have a career in broadcasting, and this is something I've always wanted to do, right? So since I was a kid, and I listened to KMBR and Ralph Barbieri and Tom Tolbert, I wanted to discuss these topics that I was passionate about. And I loved having an opinion, and I loved sharing the opinion, and I loved trying to prove the point. And that's why I think that I like writing so much, because I think a lot of writing is a lot of what we do from a broadcasting perspective. But there's a lot of broadcasters along the way that I think are legit. And there's some other broadcasters that I've listened to or watched along the way that you can tell that they're unprepared and they don't really have a plan. They don't have a purpose. It's scattered. It's not great. Many of those guys might just be trying to get by on what they did in their playing careers or simply their name alone. But I think anyone will tell you, even me as a viewer, I appreciate what you've done in your playing career. I appreciate the fact that you uh, certainly have played the game at a really high level. But when it comes to my color commentary or my play-by-play, I don't really give a shit. I want good, honest analysis. I don't want smoke blown up my ass, so to speak. I want the real shit. And I think it's okay if you're a homer. I would much rather have that and see that. Hawk Harrelson is one of my favorites of all time. And the reason being is he wears his emotions on his sleeve, and he would broadcast the exact same way. And I love that. When he was elated with the White Sox success, he would show it. And when he was disappointed with what was going on, he got deathly quiet. But I thought that was good. So in a roundabout way, what I'm trying to get at is that I have watched a lot of Dallas Braden lately because I've become mesmerized by the A's and what they're doing. And now 20-16 with the walk-off win last night. Dallas Braden is arguably the best color commentator in the game. He is fucking legit. The catcher's interference call that he saw that nobody else did last night was just awesome. I'm convinced that New York didn't even see it, but potentially there was someone in New York who was watching the A's broadcast, saw the slow-mo replay with the graphic where Dallas actually circled it, blew it up, showed the one string that got hit. And sure enough, that put the A's in position to win the game. Now, ironically, they end up striking out 3 consecutive times because that loaded the bases in the 10th inning. Strike out 3 times in a row. It was just fucking brutal. It was really tough to watch. And then the Mariners come up the next inning. Their guy strikes out with a runner at second base and no outs. He fails to execute. And so I turn to my kid. I'm like, yo, dude, look, man, you got to execute. Number one, if you have the bases loaded, we need a ball in play. And secondly, you have a runner at second base. I need a ball in play. I need something that's going to get that runner from second to third. It was 4 piss poor at bats in which each guy failed to execute. And then the next inning, Dan Wilson, the Mariners manager, elects to walk the bases loaded with 1 out. Now, this is after there was a really long at bat by, I believe it was Urias, who got the runner from second to third. And then from there, Dan Wilson says, screw it. I'm going to walk the next 2 batters. That brought up Jacob Wilson, the best contact guy in the game. 6 strikeouts and 135 plate appearances. He proceeds to get an 0-2 count on him and actually swung through a fastball down the middle. But you just knew that he was going to get the job done. And once again, it was Dallas Braden who said, hey, look, there's a lot of guys you might want to walk in this situation to get to. Jacob Wilson is not one of them. Not only is he going to put the ball in play, but who he is as a player, he's going to find a hole. And sure enough, bam, base hit up the middle. That is the ball game. The A's win. So kudos to Jacob Wilson for being my new favorite player. It's not a joke. Legit is my new favorite player. If you're looking to go ahead and find a new favorite player, his credentials are off the charts. He is so fun to root for. He is the kid, obviously, of Jack Wilson, who was a former teammate of mine. Stand-up dude. Now, Jack coached these guys all the way through high school. It was, the second baseman on the A's, too. They played the same high school. I mean, it's just crazy to think that now these guys are a double play combination up in the big leagues. And the other thing, if you're looking for a team to root for, how can't you love the A's at this point? I mean, this is the redheaded stepchild, the one that everyone's trying to get rid of. Nothing against redheaded stepchildren. But once again, they find a way to get it done. They haven't played well at home. They've played unbelievable on the road. They're now going to be a team, though, and this is going to really kind of tell where their season goes. They're going to be a team that when the A's come into town, opposing teams are going to say, look the fuck out. And also, when you go into Sacramento, it's like, yo, look the fuck out once again. So, anyhow. All right. Let's get right into it right here. Joe, buenos dias. Crystal clear today. Hey, thank you for that, man. It's always a challenge from a technology perspective. And then it's just there's a lot of moving parts. And today I had to rush on. I had about 60 seconds before the stream was going to time out. So when I schedule a stream on No Filter Network, what happens is if I schedule for 8:05, I'll have an hour between 8:05 and 9:05 to be able to go ahead and start the show. So This morning, as I mentioned, I got to making the video on Jacob Miller. I wanted to try to get that done. I was focusing on that, and I looked up. I'm like, holy shit, I got 2 minutes to start the show. So went ahead and came on here and did that. Okay, let's get to today's Daily Hustle. This is a good one, obviously, one that hits home. The title, What's Best for the Kids? Buenos dias. Today is Taco Tuesday, May 6, 2025. Daily Hustle quote of the day. To sin by silence when they should protest makes cowards of men. Abraham Lincoln. Daily Hustle translation. On Friday afternoon, we received an email from Truckee High School indicating that after 40 plus years of being a part of the Nevada Interscholastic Activities Association, the NIAA, they were going to transition, no pun intended, to the California Interscholastic Federation, CIF, at the start of the 2025-2026 school year. Here was the school's explanation, quote, recent NIAA policy changes regarding student athlete eligibility based solely on biological sex directly conflict with California laws protecting gender identity and expression, including AB 1955, which guarantees students' rights to privacy and protects them from discrimination. Aligning with CIF ensures our compliance with state law. In short, Nevada, along with 47 other states, are complying with the executive order which bans men from competing in women's sports. Yet, California has refused to follow the order and instead has somehow created their own law allowing men who identify as women to compete in women's sports. Obviously, this creates an unfair playing field, but even more importantly, the state of California is knowingly creating hazardous environments by recklessly putting young women in harm's way by allowing students who were born biological males to play women's sports. My initial reaction to the letter was disappointment and disgust, but I have so many other things going on in my life that I tried to dismiss and move on, hoping, quote, somebody else would talk sense into the school leaders and they would reverse this dumbass decision. Then I realized that I am that somebody else. As a father of two daughters who participate in sports at Truckee High School, if not me, then who? If not now, then when? I proceeded to take a deep breath, then methodically responded to the school's email with some very basic yet poignant questions. Number one, although you guys claim you'll be complying with state law, what about the school's defiance of the executive order and federal law? Number two, under the Brown Act, the meeting that led to the decision needed to be announced and made open to the public. Why wasn't the public noticed or involved in this meeting? Number three, Truckee has been a part of the NIAA for logistical reasons that make it much safer, more convenient, and less expensive to travel to away games and competitions. Was this, as well as the best interest of the kids' safety, taken into consideration? Look, I get it. Truckee High School is in a bit of a predicament because of the direct conflict between the state and federal government. Yet, South Lake Tahoe will remain members of the NIAA, and every university in California that competes in the NC2A no longer allows men to compete in women's sports. Sadly, this is a sad state our great state has put us in, and the exact situation where common sense must prevail by asking one question. What's best for the kids? I don't have the exact answer to this multi-layered complex question, but I do know this. Massively increasing travel time to schools several hours away on an often snow and ice-filled highway, as well as having our female athletes potentially compete against dudes wanting to be chicks, is certainly not it. EB. P.S. I have not received a response to my questions, but there is a public meeting on Wednesday where we will hopefully be able to get some answers to discuss further and go over the latest happenings across the baseball and sports world. Join today's award-winning Deuces Wild Daily Hustle podcast live at 8 a.m., 9:05 a.m., and at 6 p.m., 6:05 p.m. tonight at nofilter.net with yours truly and Will the Thrill Clark. Okay, so this is an issue, and it has been an issue for a while now. There's men that want to compete in women's sports. I've refrained from using the word transgender. I don't even care. I'm not going to label them. It doesn't matter to me what they want to call themselves. They, them, per, for, her. It doesn't matter. What I do know is that if you were born a biological male, you have attributes, physical attributes, that are dominant and much more forceful than if you were born a biological female. So when we're talking about these crazy increased testosterone levels that a male is going to have, it creates an uneven playing field. It's the exact reason why you have male sports and why you have female sports. And I'm not even going to go so far to say one is better than the other. There's certain female sports that I actually enjoy watching more than male sports. One of those is a sport that is my love right now in pickleball. I'll watch chicks play all day before I watch the dudes. I'm mesmerized with the game, with the speed ups and everything else. Now, don't get me wrong, I like the men's game. It's slow, boom, 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 points over. Whereas the females, it's fast, faster. It's crazy to watch. So don't misunderstand me when I say that because a male is just physically more capable to do different things more forcefully, that I love male sports that much more than female sports. That has nothing to do with this. What this does have to do with is no matter what, a biological born male should never, ever be allowed to compete in a women's competition. It was to the point where I was talking to my kid last night, and I'm like, imagine if Colton just said, I'm going to be Carlita, and I identify as a woman. He doesn't even have to do that. He can just say, I'm Colton, and I'm a chick, and I'm going to enter the, I don't know, chicks soccer team. I'm going to play lacrosse. I'm going to play volleyball. In the state of California, there's nothing from preventing that from happening, which is fucking bullshit. Because what you're doing, what the state is allowing, are these dudes to go ahead and penetrate the women's athletic fields, and it's unsafe. It is a absolute crime that California is allowing this. As a matter of fact, at some point, you know this is going to happen because there's dudes out there that are playing volleyball, that are playing soccer. I'm less concerned about the track and field shit because I don't care about awards, results, anything else. So you want to tell me a guy wants to go win a chicks long jump competition, which apparently this is through word of mouth. I don't know this for sure, but the state long jump or triple jump champion is a guy. Go ahead and live in your fictitious fantasy world, but everybody knows you didn't fucking win it, right? Like, so I could write that shit off. The big issues are what happens when they're actually on the same field. So soccer, field hockey, lacrosse, those are the ones. Basketball. Those are the sports that I would have genuine concerns over having a dude on the floor. And let this be a cautionary tale to the state of California. Somebody is going to sue the fuck out of you when something happens to their daughter. I personally know, my buddy's daughter who played volleyball for a long time, right? It was actually soccer and volleyball. So she dealt with repeated concussions over and over to the point where she had to quit. And imagine when this comes at the hands of a dude that is on the field. This is where California, from a legal perspective, will just continue to dig their hole, fucking bury themselves, throw the dirt on top. You're fucked. This state is already in terrible shape. Yet now we want to be the ones, the holier than thou ones, to say we're protecting identity rights. No. Look, I do respect your privacy. I respect the fact that if you want to be a chick or say you're a chick, you can say you're a fucking chick. You want to wear dresses, you want to wear makeup, you want to grow your hair long, you want to wear wigs. I don't care. Go ahead and do it. But guess what? You still can't compete in women's sports. You can't fucking do it. It's not allowed. It should never be allowed. It should have never been allowed. So, does this mean, oh, they can't compete in sports? No. Anybody, and this includes females, can and would be allowed to compete in men's sports. If there's a chick that wants to play football, she goes out for the football team, she makes a team, 100%. Yes. So we're not going to discriminate back the other way. But just because the girl should be allowed to play one of the boys' sports, be it baseball, football, basketball, whatever, they 1,000%, the males, those born biological males, should not be allowed to play women's sports. This is a huge issue, I think, specifically for Truckee High School. The biggest issue with this, it's not joining the CIF. It's joining the CIF would be, part of me was like, why are they part of the NIAA and not part of the CIF? And then you live up here and you realize, oh shit, the closest high school in the CIF is like an hour and a half away. I mean, that's the closest high school. But then you start looking at some of the other high schools that are potentially or would be in Truckee's division. One of them, Shasta, which is like 4 hours away. It doesn't make any logistical sense. To get over the grade, to travel over Donner Pass, to get down the 80, it's a nightmare during the winter. You have to strategically plan your timing, the storms coming in, everything. As a matter of fact, it's not only, illogical and inconvenient, but it's fucking dangerous. The ice-filled, snow-filled roads, this goes all the way back to, I think it was 1982 when there was a fatality, and that's when Truckee High School said, whoa, like, what are we doing here? And they started competing against Reno teams. There was a student that apparently was driving on his own. And look, I got this story secondhand, so if this is, factually wrong, I apologize. But the word was that this student who was driving himself to a competition perished. And that's when Truckee came together like, nah, man, like, we can't do this. So anyhow, this is an issue that is not going to go away. Last night, I guess they sent out an FAQ, and they're holding, they're holding their guns, right? Like they're saying, like, no, we're not complying with California state law. We need to respect, and this is the verbiage: respect the student's privacy. Privacy of what? Whether or not you're a male or female? Really? No. Yeah, if you were born a biological male, it says on your birth certificate as a male, you're a male. And if the other one says female, then you're a female. And again, if the female wants to identify as a male or the male wants to identify as a female, that's all good. But the one who was born a biological male, you cannot compete in women's sports. That's it. That is it. So we'll see what ends up happening. Hopefully common sense prevails, because ultimately you just got to ask what is best for the kids. And that's it. It really is. Gavin Newsom actually came out the governor of the state of California. And he even said that, look, it's not safe to have these males out on a women's athletic field. It's just not. Everyone wants to make this a political issue. I don't give a fuck what your politics are. I care what your common sense is. It is not logical to do this. Apparently, it was like Tara was telling me this. 10 in 10 Republicans believe that men should not compete in women's sports. And it's like 7 to 10 Democrats. So it's 70% of the Democrats are even saying that women should not be competing in men's sports. I want to know the three that think, well, hey, this is okay. I'd love to hear the counter argument to this, because the only counter argument I've heard is, well, this is a privacy issue. So they're not thinking about the actual shit of a dude competing on a woman's playing field. They go back to another principle that really doesn't have a lot to do with this. So anyhow, all right, let's go over these scores around Major League Baseball yesterday. Dodgers 7-4 over the Marlins. Dodgers now 24-11, the best record in all of Major League Baseball. The San Diego Padres rallied behind Mike Schilt, getting Fernando Tatis back in Yankee Stadium at a rain-soaked Yankee Stadium. 4-3 winners yesterday against the Yankees. Yankees need to tighten up the bullpen. San Diego's bullpen, one of the best in all of baseball, and they showed that yesterday while the Yankees coughed up the lead as San Diego scored 4 runs. I believe it was in the 8th inning. Atlanta 4-0 winners at home against Cincinnati. Cincinnati's at 500. Terry Francona doing a good job with that club. It'll be interesting to see if they can stick around. Giants go down 9-2 at Wrigley yesterday. Pete Crow Armstrong stays hot. This is one of the best players in all baseball. He's that good. So when PCR is in the running for the National League MVP, we could go back to this day and talk about when we were celebrating him. Kansas City, 3-0 over the White Sox. KC is 20-16. The Milwaukee Brewers at home yesterday against Houston. Milwaukee gets back to 500 with a 5-1 victory. St. Louis 6-3 over Pittsburgh. 5-4 the New York Mets over Arizona. The Diamondbacks now 18-17. The Mets improved to 23-13. That was in Arizona. And then late last night, the walk-off winner by Jacob Wilson propelled the A's to a 7-6 victory in Sacramento. The A's now 20-16, the Mariners 20-14. So the M's sit atop the American League West, just one game ahead of the A's. The Astros are back to 500. They're 17-17. They're 3 back. And then the Rangers at 17-18, 3.5 back. The Rangers hired Brett Boone as their hitting coach, a fantastic hire. This is a baseball lifer. This is somebody who obviously comes from an incredible baseball family. Really good dude. I've spent time with him on and off the field, but recently did his podcast and just enjoyed my conversation, man. He's and a hell of a hitter too, by the way. And then I was listening to him yesterday as he was explaining. He's like, look, he goes, I realize I have a tough job coming in. I realize that, I need to blend a little bit of the old school with the new school. And he's looking forward to the challenge. And he's willing to listen. He's willing to learn. But he said he wants to be the voice to be like, hey, okay, cool. But how about this? And he's like, sometimes it's going to stick with some of the kids and sometimes it's not. But either way, he is there to throw in his input. And I just think that with Bruce Bochy there, this is going to be a fantastic fit for the Texas Rangers offense, which has been one of the worst in all of baseball. Now, again, there's, several reasons for that, but this is a pretty veteran group who it's just a matter of time before they get rolling. Okay, Also in the American League, the Tigers still atop the AL Central at 22-13. The Guardians a game and a half back at 20-14. Then the Royals at 20-16. And then the Yankees at 19-16. A lot of parity in the AL East. Are in first place. The Red Sox at 18-18 are in second. Then the Rays just 16-18, only 2.5 back. So that division, I don't think is as good as anybody believes it was going to be. Everyone's talking about how, hey, look, this might be a division where everyone finishes over 500. I don't think that's going to be the case in the AL East. In the NL East, 23-13, the Mets, I mentioned the record earlier, the 3 up on the Phillies who are 19-15. The Braves are at 16-18, 6 back. The Cubs, 22-14 with that win yesterday against the Giants. And then the Reds in second place, 4 back at 18-18, as are the Brewers. And then the Dodgers. Oh, the Dodgers. Now plus 45 on the run differential, 24-11 in their win-loss record. The Padres, 23-11, just a half game back, and the Giants, 22-14. Diamondbacks are 18-17. We're going to see 3 teams make the playoffs out of this division. There's no doubt in my mind that is going to be the case. I mean, weirder shit could happen, but it's so long as the Padres make it, the Dodgers make it, and then the question is going to be, is it the Diamondbacks or the Giants that take up that third spot? Okay, Major League Baseball action today. It is Cleveland at Washington. They got rained out yesterday. They're going for a doubleheader today starting at 12:35 p.m. Pacific. Then you have the Dodgers at Miami. Texas is in Boston. Eovaldi versus Giolito. Philly at Tampa. San Diego at New York. Again, it's a fun series. Cincinnati is at Atlanta. San Francisco at the Cubs. They're going at 4:40 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. So let's see here. Will and I come on at 6 o'clock. We should come on right in the middle of that game, which should be a good one to follow. Not to mention that we'll have Will Clark and the iconic moment that he had at Wrigley Field with reading Greg Maddox's lips, fastball inside, and then he ends up hitting the ball onto the street. So we'll get Will's recollection of that moment and other Wrigley Field experiences that he had. The Baltimore Orioles are in Minnesota tonight. You have the White Sox at Kansas City, Houston at Milwaukee, Pittsburgh at St. Louis, Detroit at Colorado, Toronto at Anaheim. Be a fun one. The New York Mets in Arizona again, and then 7:05 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time tonight from Wrigley Field in Sacramento. It's the Seattle Mariners going up against the Athletics. That's what I'm supposed to call them. Oakland A's, Sacramento A's, Las Vegas A's, Vagabond A's. Who gives a fuck? A's are playing good baseball, and Jacob Wilson's my new favorite player. All right. That's about it. Back on with Will the Thrill later tonight. Joe, Pete, John and Minyo, Ramos, Henderson, Makati, City. All of the usual cast of characters. Let's not forget, by the way, our personalized weather report for all of our Daily Hustle listeners. Orchard Park, Pat O'Connell and the Busey brothers, 64 degrees. That's the high today, a low of 52. It's cloudy. Germantown, Tennessee, Jesse, my brother from another mother, 68 degrees, high of 75 today. A beautiful day out there in Wisconsin. Montgomery, Alabama, home of the Biscuits. Cloudy today, 77 degrees. You got rain coming tomorrow. Cherry Hill, New Jersey, Duncan Dad, 70% chance we got more rain coming out there in the Northeast. I mentioned John Emmanuel Ramos Henderson, 80 degrees, high at 91 in Makati City, 90% chance of rain. How about Stephen Luker and Hemet, 56 degrees, high at 71. And this kind of looks like a mostly cloudy day. Buckwheat out there at Bakersfield, 74 degrees, high of 85 later today. Matoyan Brothers in Fresno, all sunshine, high of 85 as well. How about the Savannah Bananas, land of the Platanos? 79 degrees, high of 82. Cloud cover today, rain coming tomorrow. Las Vegas, Nevada. Michael, what's up, dude? 62 degrees, high is 74. Looks like a beautiful day out there in the desert. San Mateo, Gary Tagliafico, where the fuck have you been? 64 degrees, high is 72. Beautiful day in the peninsula. Chattanooga, Tennessee, Amos, 69 degrees, high is 74. Duluth, Minnesota. Good morning, Gene. 68 degrees, high is 77. The whole north looks really nice. Auburn, California. You got the Montgomerys. You got the Griffins, 70 degrees, high of 81 out there. Kowalski and Phoenix. This is kind of weird. 61 degrees, high of 74 and cloudy. Interesting. 50% chance of rain later today, too. New York, it's raining right now. 62 degrees, high of 65. And then Giuseppe Pepe Manuele, 60 degrees in Half Moon Bay, high of 66, partly cloudy. Beautiful day out there in the HMB. How about Pop Art in Lucas, Texas? 63 degrees, high of 67. And we got a severe weather alert. Flash flood warning, lightning, all of it. Look the fuck out, man. Possible tornadoes coming. RJ in Boise, Idaho, 56 degrees, high of 71. And then here in Truckee, California, 46 degrees, high of 58 today with sunshine. Joe, I think you're out in Phoenix. John's in Collierville, Tennessee. We got to get you your own personalized one. Pete, where are you, Pete? Reno? Oh, yeah, that's it. Anyway, all right. That's right. I got it. Reno, Nevada, 65 degrees. I checked it because I was thinking about taking the dogs today. Down to Reno. And you got to figure out the temperature. If it's 65, if it's in a car, it gets hot. 65 turns into 80. So I like to, when I bring the Bulldogs, especially because they're so temperature sensitive, 50s. That's where I want it to be. So anyhow, back on with Will of Thrill later tonight. That's it. Everyone have a fantastic day. See ya.